Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Who was on this morning on producer's mindset? Any of you? Okay. Did this morning's topic resonate with you on the importance of activities?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I showed you one formula, right, that can generate an opportunity for you to get a potential buyer and a seller, right? And the powerful thing that we have, that all of us have, right, is our phones. And guess what? These phones are like our children, right? And I think even more so because they're with us 24/7. We wake up with them, we go to bed with them, and they're with us 24/7, right? So the powerful thing that you have in front of you is the context that you have here, right? And all of us have different types of contacts. Some have 300, some have 500, some have 2,500. It doesn't matter. The point being is you have warm opportunities on your contacts. I shared this morning the importance of texts, right? Sending text messages, just checking in with people. I also mentioned to you that an agent did that exercise and she was able to pick up a listing from it. Okay. And a purchase from it as well. So the beautiful thing is, the powerful thing is your phone, right? Because a lot of agents, I hear them all the time. Simon, I don't like cold calling. Simon, I don't like door knocking, right? But guess what? You have friends, colleagues, associates, people you have some type of relationship on your phone that you can check in with it. Maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. Life changes, right? Instantly. They may get a promotion at work. They may lose their job. They may have an addition, right? So many things can happen instantly, right? And when you do send a text message, that's an opportunity to cultivate a potential buyer seller from it, okay? And ask for the business as well. So I appreciate you all. Thank you very much for being on today's team. And can you believe it's already halfway through the month of July? Yeah, I remember just seeing all the fireworks, and now we're at the trenches of July into August already, right? Yeah, and guess what? The next 5.5 months is going to go quicker. So are you on track? Are you behind? Or have you exceeded your expectations this year? Okay. And it doesn't really matter where you're at. The position is just keep pressing forward. Okay. So I'm very excited for today. We have a lot of great content today. So you guys all ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Just a friendly reminder. Okay. Please remember to silence your phone. Yeah. Out of respect. Okay. Out of respect to everyone. Okay. Maybe I should. There we go. Out of respect to your colleagues, right? Because again, people come here to learn, to mastermind, and ultimately to pick up new strategies and ideas, right? Anything that you pick up from a team meeting, right? If it's one little thing that you can pick and run with, that's the importance, right? So this is why I respect that we are all businessmen and women, but at the same time, out of respect, make sure that you silence your phone, okay? If not, what I'm going to start, I'm going to be picking on people, and I'm going to say, as part of our responsibility, you're going to have to put $25 to our KW funds, right? KW Cares Fund. All right. So again, please, just a reminder, silence your phone. All right, let's continue. Next slide. All right. You know how we do it here at our office is our mission and our beliefs and our vision to provide agents with a place where they will be empowered, trained, and motivated to experience growth and wealth, and a legacy that allows them to live their life, their best life possible. Our belief, when the values of your own company align with your own beliefs, you know you found your professional home. And our vision is to achieve amazing professionals and personal development so that KW South Bay remains the agency of choice. Absolutely, right? You definitely have choice, and we thank you. And we appreciate you being in business with us, you know, and I think the value and the stickiness of what we have is all of you. So thank you very, very much for being part of this office. Let's continue. Next slide. Just a reminder, our support team here, right? The go-to people, if you have any concerns, right? We're all here to support you. We're in business for that purpose, right? You're out there looking for opportunities. You need the support of the office, the infrastructure. These are the individuals that are here to support you. Okay, so just as a reminder, we have everyone here that is supporting your business. Okay. Next slide. Also, many of you may or may not know that Eric Claudia, you know, most of you know who he is also part of now the ALC. Okay. So we're super excited about that. Yes. Yeah. Eric has come a long way, and you know, from his humbling beginning, you know, he's shown his commitment to the office. He's shown his ability, and ultimately, this was even not my choice. This was the rest of the ALC when we were trying to identify a new candidate as part of the ALC. His name came up. You know, so it was an honor. Also, he's going to be my guest speaker this Friday on Producers Club. So at 8 o'clock sharp on Friday on Zoom. And Eric, are we going to do it on Zoom or we're going to do it here in person?
Well, I'm gonna be here in the morning here in person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So come here his phenomenal startup of how and why he chose real estate and the momentum that he is currently doing. Awesome guy. You know, we definitely have some great conversations, and ultimately he gives back to the office by helping you with role playing scripts and dialogue. So again, congratulations, Eric. Thank you again. That's awesome. Yes. All right, just again, affiliates, you know, escrow, Pacific Coastline is our in-house escrow. They're upstairs. Lisa is an amazing escrow officer, and ultimately, we want to earn your business. Okay, so when you think of opening escrow and you're the listing agent, make sure to at least get some information. She can run net sheets for you. Any questions that you have regarding escrow, she can definitely answer. Okay, so just want to remind you. And if you want to check out their website, you can go ahead and go on their QR code, and all of their information on the website is there. Okay. All right, let's continue. Next slide. And also our transaction coordinator, Chris So, again, her job is to keep you in compliance and make sure that the paperwork is done accordingly, just for the purpose if we ever get audited by the Department of Real Estate. It may not happen immediately, but in the near future, let's just say, DRE investigator comes in here, talks to the broker and says, hey, I want to see files from the month of February of 2024. And then they'll see what file they want to look and make sure that it's in compliance. So the purpose of having a TC, okay, transaction coordinator, is to make sure, one, that all of the paperwork is completed, because what happens if it's not? Anyone else? You don't get paid. Everyone wants to get paid, right? Their commission, right? So her job is to scrub the file before it actually records. So that way, when compliance approves the file, you're golden and there's no delay in your commission. That simple. But it also keeps us in compliance as well if we're ever audited by the Department of Real Estate as well too. So it's a twofold, support. Remember, you go out there and make those connections with your clients. Let the office support you with internal back end stuff, And that's where Crystal comes in. Chris has been doing this for a very, very long time. She knows the contracts. She knows what documents need to be done, and she's very efficient. So please utilize all of our affiliates, that will help and support your business. Next slide. Again, I know we announced this, but just a friendly reminder, if you have an email on file that is not a Gmail, you may have pending Google group invitations in your inbox. Please accept the invitations and stay updated with all the latest that we offer here at South Bay. Next slide. All right, let's bring up Sean Buffett with First Home Warranty. He's going to be our food sponsor later on for our KW's event at 1:00. But
yes, I did bring food. Don't worry, they just haven't put it out yet. I know I'm usually associated with food, and you guys are all looking at me like, "Why are you even here?" So it's here, I promise.
it is here. Yes.
So my name is Sean Perfett. I'm the South Bay area manager for First American Home Warranty. I presented most of you with this beautiful blue folder, and this is just to help you guys understand the rollout of our newest product. So in other states where there's less volume and we can control the calls, we rolled out this product. It's a welcome call. It's seriously supposed to be like a 3-minute phone call to the new buyers. So when a policy is written, you guys provide the buyer's name. So within 30 days of them closing escrow, we reach out to them and we let them know that, hey, this is just a courtesy call letting you know you have a home warranty with First American. These are the types of things that it covers. Now, before I started in real estate, I wasn't really sure. I actually never heard of home warranty. I know home insurance, but home warranty was like, what's that? So I think a lot of buyers, when they're going through all of the escrow stuff, they forget about the home warranty. And so this is a courtesy call. First American, think of us being more proactive than reactive. This has created such a better customer experience, not for so much for the buyers as much as, well, it's so much for the buyers, but it also creates a better experience for you guys and for me. So that way, when we're getting calls like, hey, our water heater went out, where do we send this invoice? That's not how it works. So in these 30 days when they open up escrow or when they close escrow, we reach out to them and we say, hey, you have a home warranty. It covers this, this, and this. So that way, when those things do happen in that 1 year, they remember, oh, we have a home warranty. This is how to access it. Now, I'm not going to go into too much more of it, but if you do open up the folder and you look at the first flyer on the right-hand side, it does showcase most of our most common questions. It's like the rekey. How much is the service fee? How do we place a claim? Can we get the stuff done outside of home warranty and send you the invoice? Absolutely not. But those are the kind of questions that happen. And it's better to kind of get the head on that than rather receive it at the back end, because it does mess up a lot of the relationships. It messes up the relationships I have with you, and it messes up the relationships you have with your buyers. So this is just to help them give more of that white glove treatment. Again, we are not the cheapest, but my clients are not the cheapest. So it adds to that white glove experience for those special buyers. So if you guys have questions, all of my information is on the front of these brochures. You can text me. It goes right to my cell phone. You can call me. And that's it. I'm happy to help. And if you need me, use me.
Beautiful. Awesome. I just like Sean's energy, so awesome. Thanks again, Sean, for, providing us. Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, we have our KW Cares event right after our Hawaiian style. So that'll be where lunch will be provided. All we ask that we have a opportunity to earn for KW Cares, right? It's unfortunate what happened out in Texas with the floods and all that. So all of the proceeds that we collect today will go towards, the incident in Texas for KW Cares. So right after our team meeting, we'll transition, and that's where we'll have the food. Okay. Next slide. Also, Christy Buscemi will also be contributing to this afternoon's event as well. So I'm not sure if she's going to be here, but if she does, please make sure to thank her as well, as both of them are participating with the last. Okay, even better. So there you go. Give her a high five. Yes. Does she? Yeah, come on in. Give you a chance to talk. Christy Buscemi, everyone.
Sorry, I'm just getting here, but took a minute to cook the green meat. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you as always. If you ever need me, you call me and I'm here. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm very excited to introduce you to our next guest. And she's not just going to be talking to you about interior designs, but she's also one of our beloved agents here in the office as part of the Hue and Blue team. So we want to welcome our guest speaker, Diana Ayala, under A La Orden Interior Designs. So welcome.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Quick show of hands. How many of you have looked at a listing and thought this could be so much better, but you've struggled with the seller investing in improvements? All right. Or you probably wish you had a secret weapon to truly make your listing shine, right? So we've all been there. Our job is to sell for top dollar and sell quickly, but often the outdated aesthetics of a property really hinder it and leave money on the table for us. So you're not hired, right, to be a stager, a designer, or a contractor, but what if I told you that you actually could have one on your team? So that's where I come in. My name's Diana Ayala. I'm also a fellow agent here at KW South Bay, and I'm really passionate about design and staging for profit and purpose. So that is my goal, you know, as a strategic partner for you. I want to definitely be able to help you elevate your listings, empower your sellers, and ultimately be able to close these deals faster and for more money. So think of me again as your strategic partner. So let's look at how I can help you deliver this for your clients. So my services focus on maximizing the value and buyer appeal. And I do this through actually a little bit of different ways. First of all is through professional home stagings. So we know that staging the property is going to really elevate it, especially if we curate the furniture specifically, you know, for the flow of the space. It helps the buyers really envision what the space can look like, you know, once they're living there. And it just really highlights the flow of the home and also its features. Second, I offer property assessments. So I can walk into the property with you and see if there's a better flow, right? If there are any fixtures or finishes that we can improve on to really modernize the house, but also that it fit into the current aesthetic or architectural style of the property. We've all seen homes that you go in and you're just like, wait, this just does not fit. And it's like a hodgepodge of things. That's where I come in. Also, I offer 3D designs. These are specifically super helpful when you're working with an investor. Typically, the investor, the contractor, the project manager, the foreman aren't going to be on site all the time. So the workers need guidance. They need to be able to know what the space is going to look like once it's finished. So they're not making mistakes. They're not costing the investor money, and they're staying on track with like the project timeline. We all know all those projects that take months and months to complete. This is definitely an added value for your investors. I also help with curating a product list for these specific properties that again fit into the architectural style. The investor doesn't have to search all these online places to find fixtures and finishes that are going to fit the space. I also focus on finding cost-effective fixtures and finishes that aren't going to compromise the design, but they're not going to also cost a ton of money because again, we know that the investor and the homeowner, they're interested in making sure that their bottom line isn't hurt, right? And lastly, working with investors for a while now, I've been able to realize that sometimes they're not looking for a full-time designer for their investment properties, but they just need some guidance. So this is why I created curated pre-made mood boards for different architectural styles. So they're a one-time purchase. You can buy them for yourself to be able to like kind of give to your client, or your investor can buy them. They can replicate them, use them on several projects. Again, everything is linked. So all they have to do is click on the product, add it to cart, and wait for it to be delivered. Everything is online. So even if you have investors in different states, this is a great product as well.
So yes, I'm fully available to help you guys here in the South Bay in the greater Los Angeles area. So for quick, efficient service on any of your listings, I'm here. So what does this mean for you? So again, going back to being able to sell faster and for more money, we know for a fact that staged properties sell for more. This is also going to allow your listings to stand out online. First impressions are key, right? It's really important. So I want to be able to empower your sellers, but also save you time because you can outsource, the design. It's not something that you have to worry about. So ultimately, this is going to lead to more leads, quicker sales, which again, ultimately is going to be more referrals for you because you're going to just outshine everyone. So imagine being able to confidently tell your client that you can get them an extra $20,000 more simply by partnering with someone that's going to efficiently and effectively get them that price point. So as Simon mentioned, I'm on the real estate team with the Who in Blue Real Estate Group. I've worked with them specifically on 26 of their investment projects. If you're familiar with the real estate team, you know that their properties sell very quickly and for top dollar. So I'd love to be able to do the same for you. I do have a giveaway. So the giveaway instructions, if you're here in person, there's a QR code that you can scan. But if you're on Zoom, then you can go ahead and just scan. There's going to be 2 opportunities. So I'd love to be able to either give you a discount on your next staging fee that you can offer and pass along to your clients. Or also, like if you're looking for help with like the next listing or project that you're going to be, acquiring, I can go in and really assess the property for you. So that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes.
So would the property owner occupied, the stage can be owner occupied property?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we can work if maybe the homeowner wants to leave a couple pieces and they just want to kind of add, usually it's like outdoor furniture. A lot of people forget about the outdoor spaces, but we live in California, so you can, use your property year round essentially. And so really highlighting those spaces could be key. Yeah, no. Great question.
And on top of what she's saying, I think the importance is also showcasing when you take professional photography versus a vacant property with no furnitures or whatsoever. When you have it staged and designed, then it really gives you that wow factor, right? Where people have more eyes on it as well. So look at it from that parameter as well.
And I also look at it from the perspective of, or the vantage point of a photographer. I was mentioning to a couple of the agents here earlier, the way that real estate photographers shoot property is like they're going to be overexposed because they want everything to look super bright, but they're going to take these wide angle photos. And so coming in and knowing kind of strategically how to place even furniture. So when those shots are shot, it really highlights your property. I think a lot of people miss that and they're just like, yeah, just give me, professional photos. I can also work with the photographer you have so that they can kind of highlight those spaces as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Any other questions? That was a really good question.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Diana. Appreciate it. All right, let's continue. Listing pitches, buyer needs and wants. Yes, Farah, come up here so people on Zoom can hear you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosie and I, we have this listing at 4167 West 168th Street in Lawndale. We're selling it. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, asking price $760. But we're selling it with tenant in there. The tenant runs a business from that place. So that's why we're selling it with tenant in there. But you can show it if you let us know, call us ahead of time. So we can set up an appointment. We need 48 hours advance notice.
Awesome. This is the one on Lawndale, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else? Yes, Chris, how are you?
Thanks. Hi, folks. My name is Chris Walsh, and some of you may know my wife, Christy. She's also in the office as well. And I'm here to ask for your help. Last night, our listing fill out an escrow. The reasons why is I'll tell you later if you really want to get into it. However, it's hard to understand because we had the inspection done, and I'm telling you, It was the perfect escrow. It was our perfect inspection. Nothing's wrong with this house. It has a brand new roof, new paint inside, outside. And by the way, let me get to it. It's in Hawthorne. The price is a little north of $1 million. And if anybody knows somebody that wants to live in Hawthorne, or maybe some of you may have an interested buyer, please come and talk to me. We sold it so fast. And then I guess, I don't know what happened with the buyer, but she canceled escrow yesterday. That's why I'm here today. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and it's in immaculate condition. It's turnkey. It's ready to go. There's not one thing that needs to be fixed or repaired on this house. So please let me know. My name's Chris. I'll be around, and let me know if you have somebody that's interested. Thanks.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Anyone else? Okay, well, let's go ahead and continue. Next slide. Rapid fire, just listed properties. So Chase and Sumeri have a property out in Palm Springs. It's listed for $1,095,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, $1,894. Derek Hirano has a property here in the city of Torrance. Listing price is $1,195,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. Next slide. Michelle Brown has a listing in the city of Los Angeles. Listing price is $1.575, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,367 square feet. Farrah just pitched her listing. It's in the city of Lawndale, $760, 3 bedrooms, 2-bath, 1,522 square feet. Lynette Adams has a listing in the city of Long Beach. It's listed for $610. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,081 square feet. Next slide. Camilla has a listing in the city of Rancho Palos Verdes. Listing price is $1.599. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,349 square feet. Gary Nix has a listing in the city of Compton, $760. It's a 3-unit, multi-unit complex, 1,534 square feet. Annette has a listing in Rancho Cucamonga. It's a manufactured home. Listing price is $125. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 960 square feet. Next slide. Okay, that completes the newest listings. Now we're going to go into our market stats. This is where we're going to go rapid fire, guys, because we have a lot of content. All right, city of El Segundo for the month of June, snapshot of it is 8 new listings, active 24, pending 9, closed sales 9. Your price per square feet is $912. Your average sales price right now is $1.668. Your medium sales price is $1,875,000. Next slide. Manhattan Beach has 39 new listings, 104 active, 29 pending, 29 closed. Days on average 36. Price point is $1,497. Average sales price is $3.675. Medium sales price point is $3.4. Next slide. It's 27 new listings, 60 active, 6 pending, 11 closed, 33 days on market, 1,300 price per square feet. Average price is $2.735, and your medium sales price is $2.3. Next slide. Redondo Beach, 78 new listings, 160 active listings, 57 pending, 54 sales closed, 24 days on average, $891 price per square foot, 1.661 is your average, and 1.6 is your medium. Next slide. Torrance, 43, 208, 64 pending, 84 closed sales, 20 days on average, $772 price per square foot. Average sales price is $1.242. Medium sales price is $1.2425. Next slide. Lawndale, 14 new listings, 26 active, 5 pending, 4 sales, 6 days on average, $649 per square foot. Average sales price is $786. Medium sales price is $690. Next slide. Hawthorne, 28 new listings, 77 active, 17 pending, 20 closed, 37 days on market. Price $710 per square foot. Your average sales price is $1,050,000. Medium is $1,037,500. Gardena, new listings, 43, 86 active, 21 pendings, 22 closed, 14 days on average, 603 price per square foot. Your average is 816, medium is 840. Lamita, 8 new listings, 26 active, 2 pending, 11 sold, 31 days on average, 676 price per square foot. Your average sales price is $995, medium sales price is $945. Carson, 45 new listings, 93 active, 21 pending, 27 closed, 23 days on average, 543 price per square foot. Average is 824, medium is 830. Upper City, 16 new, 37 active, 7 pending, 6 closed, 22 days on average, 592 price per square foot. 8 is your average and 831 is your median. Palos Verdes Estate, 24 new listings, 72 active, 15 pending, 12 sold, 37 days on average, 1,094 price per square foot, 3.647, medium is 3.142. Rancho Palos Verdes, 55, active 156, pending 29, closed 29, average days 71, price per square foot 748. Your average is 1.782, medium is 1.5. Next slide. Rolling Hills Estate, 10 new, 27 active, 6 pending, 5 closed, 40 days on average, 808 price per square foot. Average is 1494, medium is 1427. San Pedro, 59 new listings, 140 active, 28 pending, closed 39, average days 33, 583 price per square foot, and your average 957, medium is 885. Okay, and that concludes the stats. Any questions regarding this month's stats? If I can get Fred up here real quick, let's give Fred a round of applause. Hello.
Come on, not gonna
Not for me. First of all, I want to thank Rojo for putting this together. I gave him the words, but he put the design together. So guess what? We're going to turn the mirror around to you, but I have a confession to make. Are y'all really ready for my confession? I'm guilty.
I'm guilty too.
I'm guilty. I am guilty. And I can't blame anyone else but myself. Okay? And so today we're going to be talking about consistency, the compound effect in motion. Because many of us understand that our business is a direct result of what we do or don't do. And sometimes the reason why we disappear in business is because we're tired of people telling us that we're not doing what we should be doing, the dollar producing activity. So let's go to the next step. The objective of this course right now, next slide, is to understand how small, consistent actions lead to big results. And you're going to identify your strengths and inconsistency and develop a simple system for daily execution and commit to a 7-day consistency challenge with someone that you're comfortable with or uncomfortable with. Now, I talk about this all the time and now I'm really into it because I'm actually finishing up, Miss Bernice gonna look at me. I'm actually finishing up my foreclosure course. And the one thing about my foreclosure course was one thing, consistency. I did the same thing every day. Okay? And that same thing every day. How many in here are new? 6 months new? Raise your hand. 7 months or a year new? Raise your hand. That one thing that I did consistently allowed me to close 15 deals in 6 months. Because I did it all the time. Okay? And so when I say I'm guilty, because guess what? If I kept doing it, I could still do the same thing. Next slide. So, real talk. who's gonna volunteer and tell me what's one area of your life where you've been consistent? What's one area in your life that you've been consistent? Go ahead.
So I signed up for a half marathon. So I'm running the Long Beach Marathon in October.
Awesome.
And it was a goal of mine. And so I've been consistently following a running plan. And it's honest, like my results have been, I had never ran before. Now I'm running like 9 miles. I run 3 times a week. I have a run club and people are just joining. So out of just being consistent, I feel better. I am, just really enjoying running. So that was something that really showed me that if I stayed consistent, I could see the results. And it really surprised me because I never in a million years thought that I could run 9 miles.
Wow.
Amazing.
Give her a hand. She gave us the whole thing because the result is, and here's one thing, what did she say? It surprised her. She's never done a marathon. You've never ran a mile then, right? Or
But I learned how to breathe. I needed to learn how to watch like my cadence, what music to listen to, like how to track my runs, my fuel, like everything. Like there's so many
Stretching.
along the way.
Wow.
Stretching,
Important to
moving
stretch.
lactic acid so you're not sore the next day. I learned a lot about myself, but also about running.
awesome. Give her a hand again. Now, let me ask the hard question. Who's going to be bold enough to tell us what's one area where you've not been consistent? Go ahead.
Follow it.
Follow up? Okay. And what does that cost you?
Feel like there's like a lot of clients that might be sliding through cracks because I haven't thought of that.
Okay. Okay, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Eric.
Not eating right, like you work out, but you still don't eat right. So as a result, you stay the same. Like I get stronger, lift more weight, but I live the same.
So what's the result of that?
You live the same. You're lifting more, but you live the same.
Okay,
And
Okay.
you're not eating right.
thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Brian.
When you get business, continuing to do stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
What did you say?
Brian said, when you do business and when you get business and you stop doing the things that you were doing in order to get business. You know, we get that one deal and then all of a sudden, all the lead generation that we're doing goes down by the wayside. Because all of us in here, you know, we're slow on raising our hand on what not to do. But all of us in here have a big knot in our life. And you know what that is? Brian just said it. Lead generation.
Oh.
Lead generation. Being consistent at lead generation. Next slide. And go ahead, chime in, Simon, when you want to chime in.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So if you were to rate yourself, let's get the consistency scale. Rate yourself, pull out a piece of paper, get on your phone. Has anyone ever not liked themselves? Now, let me tell you something that happens when you don't like yourself. When you don't like yourself, you don't look at yourself. Meaning you look through yourself, meaning you look in the mirror to get yourself ready, but you never really look at yourself. So we're gonna look at you, okay? Rate yourself from 1 to 10. Follow it up with leads. Daily planning. Showing up on time. Personal development. Social media marketing. And physical wellness. Circle 1 high and 1 low. 1 high and 1 low.
This is class participation, by
Yes.
the way, so engagement is part of a factor here. I think it's an important exercise to really just understand you, right? Because I think all of us have that gap in our lives. And it can be personal or it can be professionally too as well. So this gives you an opportunity to fill in those gaps and understand why it's so important for us to be consistent on the one thing, right? JPAP is on, Gary Cowler talks about the one thing, right? Imagine if you were to focus on that one thing to accomplish and then you move on to the next. Okay, that's really what today's topic is about.
Anybody want to give me their one on consistency, their high on consistency? Yes, what's your high?
My high is showing up on time in social media marketing.
Okay. You're gonna tell, I think your low is already, you told us it's a follow-up, right?
Yeah, it's following up with leads, daily planning, and physical wellness.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes. You, then we'll go to her.
I think my high is social media and personal development, but I'm lacking on the physical wellness and the daily planning, and didn't think about that, like setting up a schedule on a daily basis as opposed to a weekly one.
Okay.
Can I add to that? Because I think it's important what you're saying, Ina. It's like looking at a mountain, right? You know the mountain is there and you know it's super high. And I know this because last year, the year before, I did a Spartan. And man, one of the key elements that I saw, and bear in mind, I was not feeling 100% that day. But as soon as I saw that mountain, it's like, damn, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And I saw people on the side vomiting because it was literally a super steep mountain. But if you take chunks from it, right, and I think that's kind of the consistency is, look, you do as much as you can, you stop, you breathe, and then you continue. You continue, you continue. Yes, it looks like a big leap, but if you take small accomplishments, right, and it's like to Diana's point, right, she couldn't do 9 miles.
Right.
But the consistency that she showed up, she did what she needed to do, she focused on that one thing, that ultimately now she can do 9 miles. And guess what? She's going to be able to do 20 miles, 22 miles, and eventually do a full marathon, right? Which is what, 26.5? You know, so again, the consistency of it, it's just
Here and then here, yes.
My highest was physical wellness, and then leads was the lowest. But I know why. I was just thinking about that recently, like going to the gym or something is like second nature to me. Like it's like if I don't do it, I don't feel right. And with real estate, I'm just trying to find that same balance of just prioritizing certain things.
And what if you used your real estate, your gym thought process the same way you look at your real estate?
Yeah, I know. It's fair. It sounds good. I'm trying. I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah, just trying to apply that to that. Yeah.
It's just like Simon said, doing something consistently every day.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to open house, cold call, do expireds and FISBOs all in one lump. But if you do one thing consistently, it shows up.
And I think that's what it is. Cause like I do stuff, but I feel like I be too hard on myself sometimes, and I feel like I'm not doing enough because there's so much to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one thing, just start,
You only can eat one popsicle at a time, right?
Right.
That's it. Yes.
So probably about a year ago, I was bad on all of them, just due to my job and everything. But when I came back to the office and everything, I spoke to Simon. We kind of got a little coaching session, and what he told me that kind of made a big impact in my life is, your calendar is your boss. He said that to me, and that's when I started like, okay, I never looked at that like that. Like you go to a job and you follow all these rules and steps and all this stuff, and it's like, why can't I do that for myself? I'm my own boss. Let me set up my own agenda, my own things. I need to do something, I put it on the calendar, and as soon as it hits that time, I need to go do my, my cold calling, I need to do my follow-up at this time. I need to do, go out with the kids at this time. That's when I work out, when I'm with the kids. So you gotta find a way to get all this done somehow, some way, and follow your calendar and.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next slide. Consistency myth building, myth busting, true or false? I need motivation to be consistent. False. Consistency means doing the same thing daily.
Yes.
Absolutely. If I miss one day, I failed. Break each myth with a truth and humor. The second one says consistency means doing the same thing daily. Now, this could be either true or false, because guess what? It depends on what you're doing. Because some of us do something every day, consistently daily, and that's we check Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that, right? And we do it consistently, daily. In fact, when we pick up our phone, it's there, okay? Next slide, next slide. Identify shift exercise. Write down this or take a picture of this. You can do this in your private time. I want to be more consistent in. This is a mirror exercise, okay? If that person, I would do what daily? And then you're going to commit to yourself. Today, I commit to do what? Okay? Next slide.
It's kind of similar to bold, right? How many have taken bold in the past, right? I think your commitment, it's accountability to yourself, right? If you want to hit a certain threshold year after year, it's look at your top agents. What do they do differently that consistently generates opportunities and close more deals, right? It's that they're focused on that one thing that gives them those opportunities, right? And putting deals together. So I love this exercise.
Now, let me tell you something. I'm gonna sit down. I saw Superman last night. Okay, saw Superman. It was good. It was good. And I'm not gonna give the plot, but I'm gonna tell you one thing that really hit me, that really talks about this. Okay, partner accountability. Now you can walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, I want." Guess what? We're an office of friends and we are family. Don't be afraid to walk up to somebody and say, "Can you be my accountability partner?" Guess what? Does accountability partner mean that I got to talk to you for 30 minutes? No. It just means I can call you and pick up the phone and call that and talk to you for 2 minutes just to let you know where I am. But here's the thing that I heard from Superman, his dad, because Superman was upset. And his dad says, you cannot go by what your parents think you should be. Your parents only raised you to be the best that they thought you could be. The rest is on your own. So in this business, you went through real estate class, you're in productivity, you have people that you can connect with, but now it's up to you to make it happen. People get mad at me because I can't do this. Okay, what did you do? Because what you do or don't do is a direct result of what you get or don't get. It's as simple as that. And I tell people, real estate is so simple, it's hard. Any question? I think that's the last one.
I think there's one more, but next slide.
Next slide.
The consistent.
Yeah, go ahead, do that one, Simon.
Yeah, it's discipline, simplicity, repetition, and consistencies. Don't try to do more, just show up for less every single day, right? It's like destination, right? You know, you got to get from point A to point B. There's many ways that you can do it, right? You can ride it, you can walk it, you can drive it, you can take a train, you can fly it, but you get there, right? The point being is you keep taking one step forward in your business. So, awesome.
And that's my closing line. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I know we're cutting it close, but the good thing is no PC this afternoon because in lieu of the productivity coaching, we're going to be having our lunch in a few minutes. All right, next slide. Okay, broker updates. How many have actually looked at the purchase agreement in the last 24 hours? Looked at the purchase agreement, okay? Very small percentage of you, right? Well, you know that there is paragraphs on the RPA, right? And these paragraphs are instructions to the buyer, to the seller, to the agents, to escrow, to title, and even if there's a mediation or an arbitration, whoever's involved with that, there's specific language on these forms. Now, I wanted to focus on the fourth page of the purchase agreement under additional terms affecting price. And it goes into section 5A, 1, 2, and it talks about deposit. And it talks about the initial deposit. Then it talks about retention of deposit. What does that mean? Why do we have that language in our purchase agreement, right? Because if a buyer is interested in buying a piece of real estate, part of the give and take is you need to have some skin in the game. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Absolutely. Why would I tie up my property with a buyer that is not committed to go full force, right? One is the initial offer. 2 are the conditions. 3 are the terms of those conditions. And 4, can you perform under those conditions to get us to the finish line, right? To close the deal and ultimately transfer of ownership, right? Well, these documents are for those benefit of instructions to both the buyer and the seller. Under this is the paragraph 5, and it talks about the purchase agreement addresses the important financial, right? Go back to the next one, please. Back to the first one. Okay, it talks about the financial representation and obligation that directly affects the transaction, right? The whole purpose is there has to be something of value, right? What is my value as a seller? The property, yes. I am giving my goods and real estate. I am selling me my property. That is the value. What is the value from the point of view from a seller and a buyer? That you're going to buy the property, right? And ultimately, if it's cash, if it's financing, right? But there also is this stipulation of the requirements, right? Can a seller accept an offer with no deposit? How many say no to that question?
And
Can a seller, and repeat the question, can a seller accept an offer without an initial deposit?
no. It requires consideration.
Stuff here. Okay. So the answer is, it definitely, what you're saying, there has to be some type of consideration.
$1.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it has to be of a dollar value, right?
Document value.
Right. This is why there's language on the purchase agreement that says, what is the initial deposit, right? Well, that initial deposit of consideration should be at least a minimum of what? $1.
Statute of fraud.
Yeah, exactly. So technically speaking, there has to be some type of value in return if I'm planning to sell my property. Next slide. So the buyer representation and warrants that they have the funds necessary to complete the purchase and that the funds will be good when deposited. So in essence is when I submit an offer and I put an initial deposit and I receive the offer from the listing agent's perspective, I'm going to dissect that document, right, and determine price, terms, and condition, because that's what I'm going to explain to my seller, right? First thing I look is what price. Then I look at the initial deposit. Then I look at what type of financing involved. Is it cash? Is it conventional? Is it VA? Is it FHA? Then I look at, the amount of money that they're putting on there, right? That's just the consideration. But more so is, once the offer gets accepted and under this provision and paragraph on the initial deposit, it's basically telling the instructions from the buyer to the seller saying, here, in good faith, this is my proposed offer. Now, when escrow receives this, right, as part of their acceptance, the escrow instructions will dictate exactly the instructions of the purchase agreement. And if the buyer fails to initiate the good faith deposit, then what's the next step? What happens? Yeah. Or does not deliver within the time specified, then the seller and the listing agent must include a notice to perform. And that notice to perform is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we have not received the deposit. What's going on? You have how many days? 72 hours, right, from the time of acceptance. Yeah. To deliver the deposit into escrow. And what if the buyer needs extra time? Then what happens? If they cannot perform within those 3 days, then what's the next? Yeah, you can ask for an extension of time to perform and deliver, because what if it falls on the weekend when escrow is closed? Right? So then you have to ask for that permission of extension to allow the time frame necessary for the buyer to put, because yes, once that notice to perform is delivered to the buyer's agent and the buyer does not perform, then what happens is the seller has the right to cancel, put the property back on the market. Next slide. So the buyer delivers the initial deposit directly to escrow holder within the time specified, which is usually the 3-day business day of acceptance. By default, the agreement anticipates delivery by wire transfer, okay? So if escrow says I can only accept a wire transfer, I cannot accept a cashier's check or a check in general, then what happens? You got to find out what the alternatives. Because if escrow is not willing to take a check, then the buyer has to perform based on the wire instructions. Okay, and that's clearly what stipulates on the agreement. If the buyer chooses a different method, for example, a personal check, escrow holder does not accept it, the buyer must, upon notice, deliver the deposit via wire transfer or other acceptable methods. Failure to deliver the deposit in a required manner and within the time constitute a failure to perform, which can lead to a notice to buyer to perform and merely the cancellation of the contract. Okay, so you got to understand what these documents state. Next slide. So the paragraph also cross-references paragraph 26, okay? And I know Steve Gottlieb knows 26 very well. It's the liquidated damage provision. So it goes twofold, all right? If they do not sign the liquidated damage provision, which is the initial, it doesn't coincide with the actual damages if the deposit is not in escrow. It has to be initial. And let's just say that the buyer, right, the buyer fails to sign the initial. What is your job as a listing agent to do? Your job is to filter the form and counter asking the buyer to initial that provision. Because if you don't sign the liquidated damage provision, then we cannot hold the buyer responsible if the buyer breaches the contract, and ultimately what happens to that money, right? If there's damage. So you've got to look at it from two perspectives, and this is why this particular paragraph, really, you have to understand how that works, how you navigate it, and ultimately what happens with the deposit, if it's in or not in escrow. Because I've seen it firsthand, folks. A buyer drags their feet, never puts a deposit in escrow, and they still continue with the process. And then 10 days, 12 days later, the buyer decides to back out. The seller is upset, but there's no money in escrow. And it's happened. Shame on the escrow officer, shame on the listing agent, shame on everyone that was involved in that. Because it is our job and our responsibility and our duties to protect whose best interest? Your client's best interest, right? Next slide. So California clause that attempt to make deposits non-refundable, have you seen those, especially your investors, right? Well, forms are not considered non-refundable, meaning that if a listing agent puts on a counter offer saying, hey, your deposit will be non-refundable. Right? Have you seen those? No? Good, thank you. Okay. It doesn't automatically forfeit or often unenforceable if they do not comply with the statutory liquidated damage provision. Remember, if you know how to maneuver these conversations, obviously, if they send you a counteroffer with that stipulation of non-refundable, that is not part of the agreement. There has to be a process. And that process is that the buyer has to release certain contingencies. And once the buyer releases any and all contingencies, and the buyer does not perform, decides to cancel, cannot get the lien, whatever the case may be, then there is damages where the seller now can exercise those rights to go after to a certain percentage of a deposit. And that percentage is 3% of liquidated damages. Okay? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Up to 3%.
Yeah, that's what I said, up to 3%. Next slide. So buyer fails to deliver deposit. If buyer fails to deliver the deposit as required in a material breach of contract, the seller remedy is typically to start the notice to buyer to perform, provide the opportunity, commonly 2 days, to cure that failure. If the buyer does not cure within the period, the seller may cancel the agreement and potentially pursue the remedies such as damages. In practice, this step requires a precise timing, accuracy, documentation to protect the seller and avoid any future disputes, right? Because again, it has to be mutually agreed upon, right? By both parties. If I disagree with it's my fault, the contract says otherwise. I'm not just going to release that money to the seller because I fail. It has to be agreed upon. Now, most buyers would do the right thing, right? But in the state of California, it doesn't work that way amongst other states where it may be a little different. I don't know. But in California, there's stringent conditions that must be performed in order for the money to go whoever it goes to, either back to the buyer or to the seller. And I've seen circumstances, and I've talked about this consistently, is that just because the buyer is in default, didn't perform, released all contingencies, you would think that the money goes automatically to the seller, but in most cases, it doesn't. Escrow is not just going to put themselves in a liability, right? And say, yeah, I'm going to send a check or wire money to the seller. No, it doesn't work that way. It has to be mutually agreed by both parties. Next slide. So key responsibilities: ensure buyer understands that the deposit must be delivered on time in its acceptable form. Explain the consequences of failing to deliver deposit and attempt to add non-refundable language. And again, I want to caution you because there is going to be individuals out there that are going to put this, and because you don't understand, you're going to have your buyer sign. And then when they're trying to go through the motions of getting the deposit, you're going to have a very upset buyer, right? This is where you need to explain the risk factors when it comes to the buyer's responsibility. And I get it, right? As I stated earlier, the deposit is there to basically in good faith, right? As part of our condition, it goes towards the down payment and closing costs. That money is for that purpose, right? And if I don't perform in a time parameter in place, then yes, I have every right to lose my deposit, right? Because I held this property for a very long time. And most buyers will not want to lose that. That's why they constantly ask you, if I put this deposit of $20,000, $30,000, am I going to lose that money? No, the answer is no, it doesn't work that way. There is layers of walls, contingencies in place that have to happen first before the seller can go after for damages. Okay, so you got to be very, very careful. Advise clients to consult with legal counsel before including agreements in any non-standard remedies or deposit forfeits. This is just, again, for your investors, your wholesalers, right? They put stipulations for the end user that says this is non-refundable. They know what they're getting themselves into, right? It's a different element and a different type of way of doing business, not your traditional buyers and sellers, right? And it happens. And then that's when we see litigations and potential lawsuits happen. Protect your clients by confirming all escrow instructions and document all communications. Next slide. All right, so key takeaways. The RPA is critical because it governs how funds are handled and potential legal exposure for buyers who fail to perform, and professionals is our duties to ensure buyers understand the obligations, right? At the end of the day, you've got to know that it's your responsibility to protect your client's best interests. Next slide. And then just a simple practical example, all right? So buyer and seller agree on a $1 million home. The deposit is $30,000, 3%. Both parties initial paragraph 26. Buyer defaults, seller may retain $30,000 deposit as liquidated damages. Is that a yes or a no? Yes, yeah. This is a legitimate provision. Section 2, buyer and seller sign an agreement with a $100,000 deposit, 10%. The clause states deposit is non-refundable. Buyer defaults. Court may find the clause unenforceable as a penalty, forcing the seller to return the deposit. Okay. All right, next slide. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, awesome. Any questions regarding this? I know I overloaded you with stuff. We can get Chris up here. Awesome. Let's give him a round of applause.
All right, I'll make this quick for you guys. Actually, sorry, it's not gonna be too quick. But on the interest rate front, we're looking at rates right in the high sixes, depending on FICO score, loan amount. So they haven't changed too much. They've inched up a little bit in the last few days, although today's been a good day. But overall, they're pretty much flat, have been over the last couple of weeks. So they're still in the high sixes. But today, as promised, I wanted to come out with you and give you another training class on a different type of loan program. This is in preparation of tomorrow. I don't know if you guys are planning on coming out to hear Phil Antoine tomorrow about 1031 exchanges. He's very good. I've done a lot of seminars with him and he knows his stuff. He's been doing it forever. Anyway, hopefully you guys can attend. And so I wanted to show you guys the newfangled investment loans. They're called TSCRs. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about them or how we do them. But Natalie, go ahead, next page. So DSCR loans. Before I get there, I want to show you the old way. This is probably the way you guys know how we used to underwrite investment loans.
What does DSCR stand for?
Debt service coverage ratio. Yes. So the old way is what we would do is take in the rents from whatever you're buying, right? Investment property. And whatever that rent is, we are then going to give you 75% of that rent. And that amount will go pitted against whatever the PITI is on that mortgage, right? And then we determine if it's a negative or positive cash flow. If it's a positive cash flow, we give you the income in your income column. If it's a negative cash flow, it's a debt, just like a car payment or a student loan or something like that. We put that into the debt column. And then we have to calculate the DTI on it. The problem with that is it's hard to qualify, especially if they're self-employed borrowers, because they already have low unqualifiable income anyway. And now you're trying to have this self-employed person buy a piece of property that has to cash flow, right? So these were the old ways. Well, the non-QM sector has really revamped investment financing now. What we do is the DSCR loans, which is debt service coverage ratio. And based on that, that determines what interest rate the client will get. Natalie, go ahead and go to the next page. So what we're doing is we're looking to see what the cash flow is of that property. Let's just assume here that the rents collected on that individual property is $10,000 a month. It could be units, 2, 3, 4 units, but it's 10,000 as a monthly rent collected, right? Now we're going to pit that against what the PITI is on that payment or on that property. So the first one we look at is a DSCR of break even, which is just 1. That means the rents collected are exactly what the PITI is, right? Now, if the rents collected are more than the PITI, then you could have above a 125. And in this case, $10,000 rent collected on a mortgage payment of $7,500, that's 1.33. That's above 1.25. Because we're looking for 4 different classifications. Is it tier 1, which is greater than 1.25, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4? This will determine pricing. But we're basically looking at the rents collected pitted against the mortgage payment to determine that, right? Now, the beauty of this is we no longer are requiring income documentation from a client. We don't get anything from them because the property is cash flowing. We do get documentation, but no income documentation. So for the client, now go ahead and go to the next page. What we're getting from the client is strictly just 2 months bank statements. We're going to get a copy of just their basic stuff, right? How much money they got in the bank, their ID, their credit report, all that, because that is still pertinent. But we're basing everything on the rent rolls. What is the actual rent pro forma on that property? And if it's vacant, that's okay. We're going to get a market rent survey by the appraiser, and that will determine what that rent is for that unit or SFR, right? Natalie, next page. So we're going to look at all this to determine what we can do for their pricing. Now, these loans are pretty fabulous. This is today's pricing. I looked it up today. And someone who's got a 780 FICO score, they're putting 25% down, which is typical for an investment property. And the loan amount's $900,000, which means they're buying something at 1.2. They're putting 25% down, which is 300, and they're getting a $900,000 loan amount. If the test is 1.25, the rate is 7% on SFR. That's a 30-year fix and no points, which is exactly what I told you market rate for owner occupied. This is a non-owner occupied property where the property is cash flow. And even at the DSCR 1, we still have 7%. We'll go down to 0.75 and still get them a 7% interest rate on a SFR, 7.375 on 2 to 4 units, right? They will also do this on a no ratio. Basically, it's not cash flowing. It's definitely below 0.75, but we can do this and still get them a rate at 8.75 on a 30-year fixed. Steve.
Will they end up taking into account if rents are low for future rent increases on the subject property?
No, unfortunately, we're going to go off of actual rents. The only way you can get future rents is if it's vacant, right?
So what ratio should it be, the income to the mortgage, to the?
You wanted the highest, but in my scenario with a good credit score, you can get down to 0.75 and you get the same pricing. But basically you want to be in tier 1 to get the best pricing. Tier 2 would be a little bit less. Tier 3 is a little bit less than that, right? But it's the way we look at these now. We don't care about their income documentation. So I'm not getting the W-2s and pay stubs and tax returns. The property itself is cash flowing. And based on that cash flow, that's how we price out these loans, right? And we can do it with 20% down too, which is something that investment loans didn't do before. Now it's priced a little bit higher, but if you get above a 1 on the DSCR, you're going to be at 7.375 today's market on a 30-year fixed. These are great rates. Go ahead, next slide. So how do they get the money? So I really wanted to present this to you guys because it gives you another nugget to go out to your client base, right? If you guys don't know what to talk to your past clients who own property, they're sitting on a lot of equity. They all want to buy something. They just don't know if they can. They can with these type of loans. They just need 25%, really 20% down, and you get them into an investment property. They can, and so for them, they can either use their own savings and investments. They could sell the property they already have, which is like a 1031, which Phil will talk about tomorrow. You can do a cash out refi. You can do a second. We can do HELOCs, HELoans, pull out money, use that money for the investment. That's perfectly fine. Natalie, next slide. So if you do a HELOC,
We can do it one of two ways. We can do a HELOC or a HELoan. It just depends if it's owner occupied or non-owner occupied. But you can see that your client who owns property can now pull out cash to buy another piece of property, which is exactly what you guys want to call them for, to let them know, hey, you bought this a long time ago. You guys have a lot of equity position. Did you realize you could pull some money out and purchase another property, and show them what they can do on the cash flow basis? Very seldom do I ever put together a presentation and all of a sudden something comes to me that's like, wow, that is a wow. So I was doing that this morning and thought about this, that I'd come out here and talk to you guys about buy before you sell programs, where we can write non-contingent offers, right? But it's costly. And that's what someone had asked me, what does it cost? Usually it's about 2.25% of the sale price. And on $1 million purchase, that could be $22.5 in cost for the buy before you sell programs. Well, this option, Natalie, next slide. This option, if you do this, and you could set up your own HELOC, pull out cash, and buy the property on a DSCR loan without having to go buy before you sell, and still be able to write a non-contingent offer. Now, I use the purchase scenario of 1.5. They want to buy something like that, and they currently own a property in North Torrance that's $1 million, or let's say, $1 million. That's what it's worth. And they bought it 10 plus years ago, so they only owe 200 grand on it. Now, usually they have to sell it to get the equity out and then use it for the purchase, right? But they can't. They don't want to displace their family. So the contingent offer allows them to do it, but you guys know you're not going to get that offer accepted. The non-contingent offer allows them to do it this way, where they set up their own HELOC. We'll go 80% of the value of the property, which is $1 million. So we'll let $800,000 be the total loans on that property, less what they owe of 200, means I got a HELOC of 600,000 that I'm now using on my DSCR. They got great credit. I'm at 60%. I bought that property at 1.5. I got a $900,000 loan amount, and my interest rate 6.75. Wow, that was a wow for me. But anyway, I want you guys to see that this program is a great program for you guys to go back to your clients and try to get another transaction. Any questions? All right. Oh,
Take my investment class.
exactly. Sign up for Brandon's investment class. All right, guys, enjoy lunch. Thank you.
Awesome. I promise we're almost done. All right, well, that concludes our team meeting. So next up, we have our KWSB water lunch. So please, if you can, even a very small donation of $1, towards our KW cares will go to the families impacted in Texas. So with that concludes our team meeting.